No, I really did not have that higher hopes for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I've been a lifelong Indiana Jones fan ever since watching Raiders of the Lost Ark and Temple of Doom back to back on a VHS that my dad recorded off of the TV. I have always loved Indiana Jones, the original trilogy mainly. But before I continue on with the video, I want to give a special thank you to Xbox themselves for giving me a code for Game Pass, well, the PC Game Pass for December, which is really awesome, so I'm able to check out Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. And I have to be honest, Machine Games, who are the developers of the more recent Wolfenstein games and published by Bethesda, they've done a fantastic job with Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. In all honesty, it really did surprise me. I started to see some really positive reviews coming out from all the bigger outlets, and I was genuinely shocked. And then upon playing the game, I played an absolute mountain of it yesterday. I've not completed it yet, so this is not my full review. This is just generally first impressions. And I gotta be honest, first impressions are amazing. The game looks really, really good and runs incredibly well. Now, I'm running it in 1080p here on my PC in order to capture the footage, because although I can run it in 1440, I didn't want to, I don't want to fry my graphics card. But I can run it pretty much on all high. It's very, very well optimized, which is amazing. Troy Baker is the voice and motion capture for Indiana Jones, and he does good as Indiana, although I can still hear the Troy Baker coming through with his Harrison Ford impression. Not a negative as such, but it does sort of take me slightly out of it occasionally with some of the words he says, but it's a lot better than what I can do, definitely. But it's still really good, and the likeness of Indiana Jones for the game model as well is really uncanny. And also, it goes without saying that the music is also awesome in the game. Now, the game opens up with a retelling of the intro of Raiders of the Lost Ark, which you play through. And one thing that I did instantly notice is that it's very interactive. They get you to interact quite a lot with the environment when you're turning keys. You've got to not only press the X to put the key in, but you've got to move the left stick to turn the key, and you've got to press buttons and pull levers and do all sorts, which was really, really cool to see. Combat also feels and sounds great. There's a lot of impact and a lot of weight, and there is loads of items that you can use as weapons: guitars, rakes, candlesticks, batons, whatever you can pick up, bottles you can use, which is really cool. And the ragdoll effects are also really awesome. And the whip, being able to whip people to stun them, whip the weapons out of their hands. You can whip it, press and hold RB to whip them and pull them towards you as well. It's just really, really cool to be able to do that. And the stealth in the game is actually pretty good. You can carry the bodies out of the way after you've knocked them out, and you can perform a stealth takedown as well. I haven't really used the revolver yet, but as from my understanding, if you start using the revolver, the enemies start shooting back. It kind of turns into the Dark Knight escalation scenario. So there's not really that many opportunities to use guns so far in the first half of the game, for me personally. But I mean, you may go guns blazing all you want, but for me, I'm quite happy just punching people in the face and whipping their legs out from under them with rakes. You can also Indiana Jones will get disguises as you go through the game, and you can equip those disguises as well, which is pretty nifty. There's a lot of climbing and swinging with the whip as well, which is really cool. And when you do that, it goes into third-person mode, which is pretty cool. It's very seamless. There's a lot of puzzles and mysteries and collectibles to find as well, spread throughout, which is really awesome. You can eat food and bandage yourself up to aid in your health. There's a stamina bar, which I hate stamina bars with a burning passion, and the stamina bar does deplete quite quickly towards the beginning of the game, but it gets better as you progress through the game, but it depletes when you're fighting or carrying enemies and climbing, of course, so you got to make sure that you're not running out of stamina and falling to your death, or just you can't parry anymore and you just get punched in the face. There's also money that you can collect as well, that you can buy items at certain points in the game, and there are books strewn about to help you improve your damage and your stamina and etc. all strewn about. And I have to be perfectly honest, this Indiana Jones game is a fantastic action-adventure game, and so far I've had no real issues with the game at all. I've encountered no bugs, no glitches, no crashes. It's a really solid frame rate. I mean, compared to Stalker 2, which came out recently, which I do love Stalker 2, but acknowledge that it has optimization and performance issues. Indiana Jones is pretty much one of the most perfectly released games I've seen in a very, very long time, which is insane, really. When it comes to games these days, to have the fact that we have to mention, oh, it runs really well. We shouldn't have to mention that it runs really well. It should run really well out of the box. That's what all games should do. But unfortunately, that's not the case these days, as we know. But my first impressions of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle are very, very good. It is a really good action-adventure game. It's not Call of Duty. It's not a fast-paced shooter. It's a slow-paced action-adventure with stealth and exploration and just Indiana Jones stuff, basically. Which is what we wanted as Indiana Jones fans, and it's what we got. And I'm very grateful to Machine Games and Bethesda and I suppose Xbox for bringing that to us. So if you've got PS5, then definitely it's coming out next spring for PS5, so it'll be definitely worth picking up there, 100%. If you have an Xbox and you have Game Pass, then you can play it for free. You probably already are. If you have PC and don't have Game Pass, is it worth picking up on Steam? I'd say 100% yes, if you're an Indiana Jones fan. But like I said, it's not a fast-paced game. It's a slower-paced game, but it's really good. It's very, very immersive, and it's one that I'm happy to be able to play. But once again, thank you to Xbox for supplying me with the code, and it's been great playing Indiana Jones, and I shall be doing other Game Pass reviews for them as well. And as always, let me know what you think down below of Indiana Jones. Have you checked it out yet, or are you just not a fan of Indiana Jones? And as always, thank you very much for watching.
Can't just run away from your problems, Indiana.
Watch me.
On next plane to Rome. Stop. Need help. Stop. Meet me in Vatican. Stop. Indy.